Crunchy. Hello, Crunch community. We are here with another review of anime. My name is Levi Out Loud. Call me Levi. Call me Loud. Just don't call me out. And I'm here with John, and we're going to be giving you a nice review of Terminator Zero, which was released on Netflix maybe like a few weeks ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
It
hmm
was a while back, just a short while. But if you haven't seen it, well, I don't know how John feels about it, but if you haven't seen it, I really recommend you should watch it.
And I also recommend that you watch this anime.
Okay. I was a little scared. Like, I thought you were just come in and just trash it. Like, I was like,
No, dude, I this was a breath of fresh air because I decided to watch this one during my hate binge after Umbrella Academy. I felt like I just wasted my time watching Umbrella Academy. I felt like the entire season 4 just wasted my time, and I much would have preferred the ending of season 3, and we never got season 4. I would have much preferred that. That's my final say on that. So I was looking for something good to watch, and I saw this one was coming out. We did our little reaction to it, and I was here for it. This looked like a breath of fresh air for the Terminator series because I mean we've gotten every type of Terminator story there is at this point and having to do with time travel. So much to the point where, Rick and Morty also do a parody of it with the Snakes episode and they keep going back in time and it's just hilarious. Love that episode, one of my favorites. And I just really needed something different from Terminator. And so this trailer showcased a lot of horror aspects. I loved it. Some body horror imagery. They really got deep into the story in a way that I don't think a real life movie has done, and neither has any real play action or I'm sorry, live action adaptations have done so far, or video game adaptation. I have no idea about any kind of storyline that they're doing in that, but obviously it's not good. No one's really talking about it. But I feel like this did very much change a lot of minds when it came to Terminator, and just the fact that it was animated beautifully, I may add, was also, just a breath of fresh air.
I will say that going into this series, it generally gets better as it goes on. Um, I think like after maybe 5 episodes, 4 episodes, or something like that. Wait, how many episodes are there? 8, right?
There's
Just
8
8.
episodes.
Yeah. I think after like maybe 3, I was like, oh, do you want? I think I might give this like a 7, but by its direction. And then like generally it just kept getting better. I was like, okay, this deserves an 8. And then it just kept climbing up higher. I really enjoyed most of the characters. There was one character I found really annoying, and I was like, oh my god, like like what is wrong? Like this person's so smart, but they're acting so stupid. Like, but the dialogue was surprisingly really well done. I did feel that there was probably a little bit too, not that this is a negative, but it just I felt like they didn't need to put that there. Um, like too much profanity. Like like it just there was some words where like fuck that just didn't need to belong there. But there was some parts where like the fuck really drove the point. I think one of my favorite quotes is I wrote it down because like I knew we'd be talking about this. It was like let me see. Oh, you have no fate, child. That's the fucking point. Like when the old gypsy lady told her, I was
Yeah.
like, that's a nice line.
Yeah.
I think they reiterate it somewhere like
hmm
again. Like
Yeah, they do.
I was like, that is a sick line. All right. Those and you know what? I think I don't know if you want to jump into spoiler territory, but like in general, like the animation was super great. Some of the combat was flawless at sometimes. There was like a little bit of like too much zoom out, but I think it transitioned really well. The the horror aspects was really great. Like they had some really great death scenes. Like
hmm
I saw one where I was like, oh,
Yeah,
like
like,
you know,
whoo, man, like in that scene where the T1000 has these dual 50 cal Barrett snipers, and it's just going ham like they're machine guns, brother. And like people are literally exploding when they're getting hit by this, and it does not shy away from showing us that. Um, that had to be one of the most badass sequences I've seen in a Terminator. Anything was awesome. It was awesome to see, and it was animated amazing. It was. I can tell that they put a lot of care into this one. Um,
Yeah.
and I think the only parts I was taking a little bit out of the animation all was when they used CGI, but it wasn't
Okay.
too much. It wasn't too much CGI to where it completely took me out of the mindset that this is an anime. So it does fall into that, but I think every anime studio at this point is pretty much using CGI, and
Yeah.
it does, and it works sometimes. It works sometimes, and I get it. It's to save some money. It's just, for the budget and stuff. So I get it, and I understand when they use it, but it wasn't gratuitous. And when they used it, and when they used regular animators to do a lot of the hard lifting, it really shows, and they really show it off. And I love that part about it. And I love this backlight weird animation lining that they do for the characters. I'm not exactly sure when exactly it comes out, and it's not to one specific character. It's like to all the main characters out there. Like there's like a purple lining around them, or like a green one, a blue one. And it has to do a little bit with what their background is, but sometimes it has nothing to do with the lighting that they're in. It's just every once in a while there's like purple, or yeah, like any of those colors that are just around the character. And I really enjoyed that. I liked seeing that, because it wasn't to one specific character. It was kind of just all the main characters that are in that particular scene.
Um. So going into spoiler territory, I think we generally, kind of like metal around. What's the word? Like we kind of tiptoed around everything. Said the importance of everything.
Mhm.
Do you want to give your score now or
Yeah,
after
yeah. I'll give my
spoilers?
score. So I give this one solid 7.5 for the
7.5.
entirety.
Oh
Yeah, for the
wow,
entirety of the anime.
wow.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think every episode is solid in its own right. It dips off in story a little bit. So every like maybe like 5 minutes into like 4, 5, and 6, there's like maybe 5 minutes of that's just heavy dialogue. So you really have to be interactive with the anime. So I feel like for some people they may get lost in that. But I feel like they do it very well. I really actually enjoy the dialogue that they have just as much as I do the action sequences. But that's just me. I know that's not for everybody, but for me, I actually enjoyed that. It's a lot of conversations about humanity, right and wrong, and exploring, the good and the bad about humanities and AI and stuff like that. So that's something I really enjoyed, and I think in total this anime deserves 7.5. Absolutely check it out.
Uh, so with me, I kept jumping from an 8 or a 9, and I decided that I wanted to give it 8.5. It shies away from being an A, just like a little bit of margin, in my opinion. There were just some things that maybe like little nitpicks in there. Um, Generally, they have a lot of great plot twists, but there were some that I just saw like a mile away. And then like generally I forget like, oh yeah, I called that way before. And I still get excited when I'm right. So it isn't too stupid, like that these plot twists happen. They do make sense in this time uh anime, this anime revolving around time. It is a bit
Mhm.
like jarring at times, but when you watch so many time animes or time media, you know that sometimes this shit will happen.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, let's go in spoilers so I can justify my 8.5. Um, so one thing I think so going to characters, my favorite character, I honestly, oh man, I had it somewhere. I think is Misaka. Misaka.
Bisaka, I believe
Yeah,
it
I
said.
think that's her name. I think that's her name. Misaka. Let me see. Yeah, Misaki.
Misaki. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
I thought Misaki. Like I was waiting for it. Like I don't think in any media you can make a bad cyborg woman. I think that's the most amazing trope. I enjoy Aegis, Ghost in the Shell, Android 18. Like it is hard to make a cyborg woman and make her terrible. And spoiler alert, Misaki is a is a cyborg. Or I think she's just full on android. I know that wording
Yeah,
cyborg and android gets
she's actually a full-on robot.
yeah, so android.
However, she's extremely advanced. She has an
Yeah.
extremely advanced AI to the point where she feels emotions just like a
Mm,
human. At least that's what it's explored to be, because she actually does care about the children. She cares about her family
yeah.
that she's kind of taken up upon, and she's taken a liking to humanity as well. When she was aware that she was an AI, at to some point she in the story she forgot that she was an AI.
Yeah. That moment when she like locks in, her eyes become red. Oh my god, I replayed that scene like maybe three
Yeah,
times. That one scene where she headbutts a dude and like half of his head shows like his brain. That was the most
yeah,
brutal kill
it
for me.
literally exploded. His
I was like,
his head
Jesus.
exploded, which makes total sense if that were to actually happen.
So, one thing is that okay. So one reason I put it down is because I feel like a lot of scenes could have been done a lot better, and I feel like they teased me a lot. Like they showed what were the robots that weren't T-100s? They were something else. They weren't
Oh,
Terminators.
um, they were
Enos,
another Enos,
Inos, yeah,
Unos or something like that. I can't remember.
Inos or something like that.
Yeah.
So there was one where like they were making like they were killing people in the hospital. I was like, oh
Hmm.
shoot, this looks really cool. And that just brought me the idea that Terminator really should do like a horror movie, like
Yes, that's
or
the. I mean,
something like that.
and I still believe to this day, in my core, Terminator One is a horror movie. Terminator One is an actual horror movie, and it's about a robot trying to kill one woman. I mean, it's a very simple synopsis, and it's to not. I mean, and I think the horror comes from when his cyber side is, or the cyber side of the robot is revealed, and I think Terminator was supposed to be a horror movie, and it eventually got turned into action and thriller, type of stuff, and so I really wanted this to go back to horror, and it did, and I loved it, and it
Yeah,
works so well, and in an anime format, they did an amazing job making the robots have like that really ominous threat.
comply or die.
Comply or die, dude. That was an amazing line. Amazing line,
That's
dude.
so good.
That is so terrifying. Like if you were to actually get into a world like that, comply or die
Yeah,
was
like that.
pretty cool.
Like, listen up, Hollywood. Listen up, Netflix. Like, that is a really good concept of medical robots. Just turning on doctors, and
Yeah.
survivors are locked in a
Yeah.
hospital and they need to get out. Like,
Yeah,
that is a
dude.
very good concept.
And I feel like if
Um,
they had a bigger budget, we probably could have seen an epic hospital scene.
yeah,
I feel like they had to save some money because I feel like they wouldn't have done it right, and I think they did just enough. They showed us just enough to give us that unsettling feeling that these people are getting torn apart in there. So I think it does that so well because sometimes less is more, and I think
okay, yeah,
that often gets overlooked in horror, and I think in that sense, the less was more. It kind of leaves you in your mind like, what's going on with these patients? Are all of them being killed, or are only the doctors because they can heal people are being killed? What is the actual uh concept of killing an entire hospital? Like, what are you gaining from that?
mhm. Um, I really like Reika's character, the daughter, and
Hmm.
only because like throughout the entire movie, I kept calling her Dora. I'll tell you, man, she looked a lot like Dora. Short hair. I think she had like orange shorts and a pink top.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so like when Terminator came, I was like, Terminator, no swiping. Terminator so fucking good. But I think a lot of times I was like a little bit I want to say maybe like I was losing motivation a little bit when it kept going back to, because a huge part of this anime is just Kokoro and Malcolm Lee's conversation. That like generally you just keep on
Mhm.
going back to that, and
Yes,
sometimes
yes.
it gets a little bit tiring. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
and so that was I think that was one of the weakest points. Luckily, they had like um some very good strong dialogue, but
Mhm.
it was just so much going back and forth in this like white empty room as he's
Mhm.
just trying to convince this lady. I feel like they maybe if they cut down maybe like I'm trying to figure out like how much they could have cut down to where it would have been reasonable and it would have
But
been
I feel like a lot of it
justifying,
was needed. I feel like a lot of it was needed, and I feel like if
like
you
most of
skip,
it.
I think most of it was still needed. I think you can probably cut out some of it, but I feel like the main impact of their relationship is the fact that she only knows him for the majority of her life. She only knows him, and I think it's really trying to establish their connection. Um, their essentially their one-on-ones. So that's really what gives the impact at the very end when Malcolm eventually does die. So that really does show impact for Kokoro and for the other characters as well. Because I mean, obviously, we know that Malcolm isn't exactly the greatest father because he hasn't been there, but then they learn why he's been so distant from them for so long, desperately trying to create Kokoro. So it's trying to put Malcolm in a sense where like most of his efforts would put towards Kokoro, and I feel like that also has payoff as well because eventually Kokoro does they end up caring for Malcolm and how he was portrayed and how Kokoro eventually realized that she wants to be the best of her kind as well. So I think it was essential to have a lot of it, especially when it came to right and wrong, the arts, understanding humanity, and all those things. So I think a lot of it was needed, and that's where I pointed my criticism because I know it gets really heavy as well, but I think for me, I enjoyed it just as much as the action.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I liked him towards, I did like him towards the end. You know, at
Hmm.
the end, he was rubbing off me when you finally get to see his flashback story and see like how much of like what's the word I'm looking for? How much of an innovator he was, and how much he was willing
Hmm.
just to push boundaries and stuff like that with building, you know, Misaki in his basement basically,
Hmm.
and rebelling against, you know, sort of not necessarily rebelling against the human race, but that's sort of how like everyone took it as.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hmm.
at the very beginning, I was like, man, this is like Doctor Stockman if he was a bad father, man.
Yeah.
um, the voice. So, did you watch this in English or Japanese?
I watched it in English.
English? Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
I felt like okay, this is Terminator. Terminator's more of like a Western, you know, IP. I was like, I think I gotta watch this in English. And
Hmm.
you know, also I was surprised. Like it was really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Misaki's voice actress when
Hmm.
she like gets serious. The whole like where Kenta is pulling a gun on her and
Yeah.
she's like trying to talk him down, and then like that one line I also put it only had that only two lines, the you know there is no fate, that's the fucking point, and then she was like put your fucking seatbelt on. I was
Yeah.
like that one wasn't needed, but she delivered it flawlessly. I like that. um the uh the Terminator was really cool. I think you know there's two of them, but they're both menacing in what they could do and just how much death they were starting. Like the police instinct was really cool. Was a really cool scene. I thought we
Hmm.
were gonna get like a car chasing scene, but like like it was very quick. Nothing too uh miraculous happened, you know.
Yeah.
But so go. So I also I kind of liked Echo, the like the time traveler.
Yes. Yeah. She was
Echo's
also
Echo
awesome.
Eagle's pretty cool. Uh, I hated Kenta. Fuck Kenta. I hated Kenta so much. Kenta was starting most of the problems. I was like, this kid is a psychopath. Like the way he's just nonchalant, like, yo, let me dismantle this robot kitty. I was like, oh, no, no, get him off the screen. Like, I do not like this kid, and
But
he
like
just
to a
yeah.
degree, he was correct. To a degree, he was right in a lot of the things he was saying. Technically, so, but at the twist at the end, I mean, we eventually find out that he is who helps Skynet. So it makes sense, I guess, for him to kind of be portrayed as this character that is going to look bad, I guess.
Yeah, that was a twist I did not see coming.
Yeah, I
I'll
didn't see
applaud
that
him that.
either.
I did not see that coming. I was like, whoa, what
Yeah.
the? I was like, I'll give them props for that. The the one twist I did see coming, like when Malcolm Lee was born, I was like, we didn't see the mother. I was like, yo, is it for
Yeah.
the only way I can see it, it's being Aiko, and then like he reveals it, like he's like, hello mother. He's like,
Mhm. Yeah.
I didn't give birth. And I was like, even know how stupid that is, I was still like, okay, I got that right, and I was like, that is pretty cool. He's like, take care of your grandchildren.
I mean, it's classic Terminator, man. There's constantly someone being sent back from the future that's supposed to be someone's father, man. It's classic Terminator at that point. You got to have at least one of those in there.
um, what were some other great highlights in this movie or in this show? It was only 8 episodes. That's why I was like, damn, like I'm like I don't know uh, how you feel about this, but I would love a season two. It might solve it, but I think season two could. I would welcome it. I would very much welcome it. I think this is kind of a cliffhanger, sort
Mhm.
of. So I would really appreciate season two, and I think they could do it justice.
Yeah, I think
So long as they.
they left it very much open for a season 2 interpretation. They very much did that. They left a lot, that was able to be explored for the next season if they decide to do one.
And there's so much potential for it. Eiko and Misaki fighting alongside. I'll say that the entire maybe Terminator battle scene at the very end was really great. Misaki was putting that work in. Misaki was trying to
Mhm.
put her desk. And you know what? I will. So when we reacted to this like a while ago, like just maybe like 2 weeks ago, I said that I'll say that they probably put a lot of the graphic scenes in that trailer because there was a few, maybe there was a few stuff that wasn't spoiled going into the anime, but I was saying like, oh man, I'm gonna be very heartbroken to have characters die. I thought Misaki was gonna die. I thought she was gonna get
True.
dismantled or some shit. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was surprised that there was no major character deaths besides Malcolm Lee. And I didn't really. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
True. I
All
thought
right.
there was gonna be one other death as well. Um, but the T-1000 death was actually pretty cool. When all the robots were kind of going at him in that
Oh yeah,
hallway,
yeah.
that was cool. I really liked that part, dude. When he was just like tearing them all out. How superior of a robot he is compared to this, and how vastly different his technology is from this technology, and how just overpowering he was, but just the sheer amount of robots that they threw at him, it was insane. I loved that sequence. That was one of my favorite sequences with the red light too. Oh, dude, it was awesome.
I was like, am I gonna really feel bad for T100?
I kind of felt bad for him, dude. I
Yeah, I
kind of
was
felt
like,
bad for him. He was getting torn apart because they were pretty brutal to him too. They were just ripping him up with their hands, dude. It's insane.
damn, like I was rooting against this guy. And now he's protecting this child I don't even like. This is a
Hmm.
cool scene. Just a whole hallway. Like
Yeah,
uh, like put a song over it. I won't back down.
yeah.
Like
Like
that.
even the that little bit of dialogue that Kokoro had with Kenta for the EMP part, I thought was also pretty cool too. I mean, I actually enjoyed that too.
Uh, what else? I don't think there was anything else. Um, I'm a little stuck. Is there anything else that really spoke out to you, John?
Mm,
It's a very short series. It's a
yeah,
very short series.
it's a very short series, but a lot is explored. I mean, I guess I could just like to sum it up, man. This was a breath of fresh air for Terminator fans. I know not every Terminator fan is gonna love it because simply because it's anime.
Hmm.
And there probably is some Terminator fans that are way older than me because those movies came out like in the 80s. So they may not even understand that there is a cartoon version of Terminator. So who knows, man? But for me, I used to really like Terminator movies when I was younger, and seeing this one, it's a breath of fresh air. I loved it, and I feel like I'm a broken record when I keep saying that, man, but it really is. This is a step in the direction that the Terminator series need, and I would much rather prefer a season 2 rather than we get another movie from the Terminator franchise.
Yeah,
Even if we
also,
get like another series out of this, like if we get Terminator 1 and it goes back in time and it talks about the story after Eiko leaves. Like it's like not even having to do with these characters. I would, love anything else that's coming from the people that created this. Like it doesn't even have to take place with this set of people. Like I would just love anything that they come out with. I would be
yeah,
so open to it.
yeah. This is the right direction for the Terminator franchise. Like I don't know if maybe take a break from the action, just go straight into horror. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe wait 4 years until you go decide to do another action movie. But as of this moment, just do one T-1000 starting up a mall, man, or like or
Yeah.
just full on survival.
Yeah.
That would
Same.
be really great. But so in conclusion, Terminator Zero is incredibly great, really graphically pleasing. Some of the fight scenes are just super attention to detail, and the fighting choreography is really fluid.
Mhm.
I think you guys will enjoy it. The characters themselves, except for Kenta, are
Yeah.
really fun to watch. I think I enjoyed it. The
Yeah.
kids do act like kids.
Yeah, the
The
kids are
kids,
yeah, the kids are essentially kids. They're pretty
yeah.
dumb for the most part. So they're gonna make dumb decisions, which I don't think it goes outside of the realm of kidness, if that makes sense. Because some kids are just dumb to be dumb, but these kids are, they're kids with a background, with a past that motivates their behavior. So I think that's very quintessential to their story too. So it's not out of the realm of possibility of what these kids are doing. So I love the story, the small story that they give them, but with a huge impact. Um, I think the pacing is great. The um artistry is amazing. I know there are some avid haters of CGI and anime, but it doesn't take you out of it for too long. If it's really distracting to you. There are some sequences that are there with CGI, but I mean, I understand it. I mean, it's to save money, but they really put a lot of effort where it really counts. And I think that's all we can really ask of the anime. I mean, depending, I don't even know the budget of it, but if it wasn't that big, I mean, they did with what they got, and it came out great. So I highly recommend this one. It is a very fresh look into the Terminator series. Solid anime if you just like anime in general.
Yeah.
So definitely give it a try. If you haven't seen it yet, if it's just sitting in your watch queue, definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's only 8 episodes, so you could finish that in a day. Like
Yeah,
or if or if you don't want to binge
yeah.
watch it, a weekend even as well.
Do it a weekend.
But
Yeah, two or three episodes in the weekend. Just give it a shot. It's
yeah.
pretty good.
But so I was at 8.5 from me and 7.5 from John. Let us know down your review if you check it out. Let us know your thoughts. It's really great with some strong female characters, strong characters in general, and it's such a pleasing anime. So it really cleansed that Umbrella Academy season
Yes.
4 palette.
Yeah, definitely did. Definitely did. I needed something good to watch after that one, man.
All in all, stay crunchy.